Michigan State's football team loses 38-13 to number 3 Indiana. We'll break down that game. Up next, Michigan Wolverines are on the clock. Plus, the hockey team completes a sweep of the number 1 Boston University Terriers in dramatic fashion. The hockey team now jumps them up to number 1. We'll have a quick update on other sports. I'm Connor Clifford. We're talking Michigan State sports. So the football game went about as expected. Michigan State lost by 25. The final score was 38-13. The defense did not look good at all. There was the first set of downs that Indiana had the ball where it looked like MSU might be able to hold them to a 3-and-out. They allowed the first down, and from that point on, Indiana did not look back. They scored 5 straight touchdowns on their next 5 possessions. They ended up getting another field goal, and the only time that Michigan State stopped them was on downs in the fourth quarter, once the game was kind of out of reach. With that being said, there was some bright sides. Aiden Childs was excellent. I know that there's a lot of Aiden Child haters out there. I don't know what more you can say from him. He went 27 for 33, 243 yards and a touchdown. No interceptions. I mean, from from that performance, that's an excellent performance. You can't ask for much more. Obviously, you would like the win, but he also was running on the ground. He rushed 8 times for 48 yards before he took another long one for 64 yards. He was actually the leading rusher for the team. I did enjoy seeing Toe Tolliver get some reps at running back. Not that he did too many fantastic things, but it was good to see that we're changing it up a little bit. I would still really like to see Clarizio get in there, the 4-star running back from East Lansing, committed to Alabama, flipped, came to Michigan State. I would have really liked to see him, see what he can do. But I did like seeing that Toe Tolliver got in there. Frazier was just not doing it. He ended up only getting 1 yard on the day on 7 carries. And then Tulis had 2 attempts and ended up getting 3 yards on the day. Only 74 yards rushing for the team. Most of the yardage was coming from passing, as we said, 243 yards from Childs. But looking back to what I had said before the game, I don't like these deep bombs that we keep throwing, and we have to play the short medium game. And it seemed to work in the first half. That did seem to be what we went to. The first drive, it did seem almost every first down we were throwing a bomb that was just out of reach. Childs is not that accurate for the long ball. But once he started doing the screens, getting the slants in there, the medium slants, uh, the offense looked good. The offense looked good for the first half. Um, they ended up scoring, what was it, all their points, if not all minus a field goal in the first half. It looked like they could have brought it into a 17-21 game at halftime. They didn't end up getting any points on that final drive of the first half. But the way that that the offense was running, it looked promising. But that's the story with this team. Any time under Jonathan Smith, it seems that the first half uh, looks promising, looks good, and then the second half we just fall flat. There's no adjustments made. It's extremely frustrating to see that. What's the statistic that Michigan State has not outscored any team in the second half from a power conference other than Boston College under Jonathan Smith. I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe it's the strength and conditioning. Are they just gassed? Or is it truly a coaching issue where no adjustments are made? I'm not sure. I will say that I am skeptical of the strength and conditioning coach. We had a whole laundry list of players that were out for the game, whereas Indiana, I don't believe, had anybody out. Even Childs was questionable heading into the game. He ended up playing, and obviously, as I've said, he had a fantastic game. But it is really concerning to see how many injuries we have. Um, and again, maybe it's a fluke, but it seemed like the same thing happened last year. Um, I don't know what needs to change, but something has to give on this. Going back to the end of the first half, I didn't really have any really picky uh, criticisms of the coaching until that final drive. Uh, if you watched, you know what I'm talking about. We got the ball around midfield, stopped the clock with about I don't know 30 seconds or so. I'm not entirely certain, but the chains were moving, so the ball stopped. Uh, Plenty of time to get everybody up to the line. We had one timeout left, and we took it. I don't understand why we did that. I definitely think that we need to have that discipline and say, okay, if this is crunch time and we want to stay in this game, we need to get everybody up to the line in time to snap the ball. We can't waste our time out there. We did waste the timeout in the next play. Childs got sacked. Time ran out, and we didn't end up scoring in that for, to end the drive, to end the half. Indiana got the ball back to start the second half. They scored a touchdown, and all of a sudden, what could have been a 21-17 game turned into a 28-10 game. And at that point, it's very unlikely that you're going to come back, even if you are going to get some stops on defense. There's only so many possessions left in the game. With that being said, I don't think that this was warranted for a Jonathan Smith firing. I know that the online crowd doesn't like to hear that, but I mean the fact is his buyout goes down $6 million next year. They're gonna wait until at least then to do it. Florida just fired Billy Napier. That position's now open. As I said the other day, Florida State's going to have an open position. Penn State has an open position. UCLA has an open position. Wisconsin will probably have an open position. Nebraska might have an open position. All these top tier programs, they're going to be looking for somebody. Not saying that Michigan State's not a big landing zone, but it's not one of the top tier places. I mean, we might get the fourth best guy, the sixth best guy, and at that point, are we just gonna, try and fire him after a couple of seasons too? I don't think that this is the right time. With that being said, we're playing Michigan next week. If we get blown out to Michigan on our home field, another 49-0 as they did a couple years ago, my attitude might change on that. But at this point, I think we got to give them some more time. It's frustrating. I get that. But at the same time, it's a big buyout. We're competing against a lot of teams. This is a massive coaching carousel year. And honestly, I don't know what the appeal is to come to Michigan State over some of these other schools that are bigger brands, can get better recruits. I don't know all the details. I've heard our NIL is a mess. For all I know, that's true. I would imagine some of these other programs don't have quite the messy NIL. But that brings us into next week, the Michigan game. I will be heading back into town for that one. I'll be at the game. Hopefully, I'm there for a win. Not too confident in that, but you never know. We have played well against good Michigan teams that we had no business beating. I'm hoping for another one this week. Last year we weren't very good. We ended up being pretty close with them. We only lost by 7 last year. We outgained them 352 yards to 256. I mean, that's a whole extra 100 yards on Michigan. It was the mistakes. And with Aiden Childs this year, he's not turning it over as much. Yes, he has a couple of interceptions. He hasn't fumbled it nearly as much as he did last year. The interceptions have come down. Those were the turning point last year. It was the turnovers, the stupid mistakes. Who knows? Maybe we can sneak one out here. I don't think Michigan is as good as their ranking is. They're now rated 25. They just beat Washington 24-7. That game was a lot closer than the score shows. It was basically tied for the majority of the game. Michigan ended up taking the lead late, and then through garbage time, they ended up getting making it look a little bit more pretty on their end. So I don't think this Michigan team's great. I do think that they're better than us. So that's why I'm saying I don't think that we're going to win this one. But boy, do I hope so. Boy, do I hope so. I do not like Michigan. I cannot stand them. This week I'm getting fired up off of Mark D'Antonio clips. I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to go back to old coaches to get this fodder that we need to get hyped for this game. But that's the state of the program. I think that's another frustrating point. Is it just doesn't seem like Jonathan Smith has any sort of fire under him. He did say that we're going to change the tide in a recent interview. You know, that's better than nothing, I guess. But at the same time, it's like when D'Antonio talked, you knew that he understood the hatred between these two schools. He understood what it meant to be a Spartan. He understood that that game is the biggest one on the schedule and that the state of Michigan shuts down for it. I don't get that from Jonathan Smith. Granted, maybe it's the West Coast in him. He's not from Michigan. He doesn't know, but I just want something. Like I said, that's not me calling for his head. That's not me saying that he needs to be fired. But at the same time, I can vent my frustrations with it. That game is 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. That's going to be on NBC. Stay safe out there, Spartans. I know that these late games, especially against Michigan, tend to get rowdier, and that's another thing. I just can't stand this Michigan program. I've been going to games since I was probably 7. 20 years I've been going to games here. I've never once seen a fight break out in Spartan Stadium, except for when we play Michigan. I've been to the Big House. I saw multiple fights break out then, and only one of them was between a Michigan and a Michigan State guy. I mean, they're fighting their own fans. Um, it's really embarrassing for the state. Um, I mean, you go on any road trips in the Big Ten. I was just in Nebraska, and we were talking to them, a couple of their fans, and which fans are the best ones to come in, which ones are the worst, and it's unanimous throughout the league that the Michigan fans are just the worst ones to deal with. Not even just for a rivalry game. The Nebraska fan said to me, "As long as you're not bringing in your Ann Arbor crap, we'll have a great time." By the way, Nebraska, one of the most hospitable fan bases. I would say for me that I've been to for sure. They're the number one hospitable fan base for opposing teams. I've not been to all of the Big Ten, but I have been to half of the league, and I got to hand it to Nebraska. They were class acts. Um, so there's this game. I mean, looking ahead, we got Michigan, Maryland, Minnesota, Iowa. I think we could win all those games if the game ended in the first half. Uh, I just don't see us. I don't know where we can pick up another win, to be honest. It, the lack of adjustments at halftime is killer. Like I just said, first half, I think we can beat any one of these teams, but we got to get way ahead because we're not going to score nearly as many points as we do in the second half. And that is something that needs to be addressed. I don't know if that's a Jonathan Smith thing. I don't know if that's his coordinator's thing. Something needs to be addressed about that. Because I do think that this team has the talent to be bowl eligible. I think that we could have beat USC. At the time, I didn't. I thought that we played pretty well against USC. Nebraska, we should have won that game. I mean, this team has upside, but where are you going to find those wins if you can't play competitive football in the second half? That's the question, and hopefully we see that come to fruition this Saturday, and hopefully we can put these guys away because I'm so sick and tired of losing to Michigan in football. Moving on to the hockey game. This was a fantastic game for those that watched. Um, I will start by saying that the announcers were just atrocious. I know that they were the Hockey East in interconference announcers, but man, they were so one sided. They were using the term "we," us, referring to Boston. And I got to say that if this was on BTN or Big Ten Plus, uh, even us playing any Big Ten team playing Boston, I don't think that the announcers would be using those types of pronouns, the we, the us. I think that they would keep it neutral. Um, with that being said, it was pretty fun to watch them blow up at the end of the game. For those that did not watch the game, Michigan State was up 3-1 midway through the third period. Boston came. They scored two quick goals back to back, just within a couple of minutes of each other, and tied it up 3-3. And the announcers were going crazy because apparently they're big Boston fans. Um, the game ends up going into overtime, and it's back and forth in OT. With about a minute and a half left, Michigan State gets the puck, and it looks like they're about to put it away. They don't. They end up missing. Boston gets the rebound. It goes to a 2-on-1. It looks like they're going to score, but Van Sagi just ends up stealing the goal. The puck is just about a quarter of the way from fully crossing over the line. And for those that aren't big hockey fans, for a goal to count, the puck needs to completely cross the line. He dishes that out. Michigan State goes on a 2-on-1 of their own, and they end up scoring. It was a crazy back and forth. I went from 1 second about to jump off my couch thinking we scored to then 5 seconds later thinking we just lost to another 5 seconds later me actually jumping off my couch because we did end up scoring. And the announcers are going nuts. They're saying that was definitely in. They're going to need to take a look at that. And it's like, yes, obviously they're going to take a look at that. They don't end up showing any replays of the alleged goal by Boston University. But the announcers the whole time are saying, "Oh, I got one on my screen. That's gonna get overturned. That's gonna be a goal." So again, I'm sitting in front of my TV thinking, "Oh, we're gonna lose this. That's a bummer." Ref comes out onto the ice, says that the calls are confirmed. No goal on my left, goal on my right. Michigan State wins, and the announcers just start freaking out, saying, "Well, at least we got a 40% win." Huffing the copium. Um, then they show the replay, and yes, it's close. It's a very close call. But if you have that stop frame footage, as they were saying that they did when they weren't showing it, it's very clear that this was no goal by Boston, and that Van Sagi was able to save that win for us. So Michigan State ends up sweeping Boston on the road. At the time, Boston was rated number 1. They are now rated number 2. Michigan State hopped up from 4 up to number 1. Um, Up next, they will be going on the road to play at Northern Michigan. So that game will be up in Marquette. They got one game Friday and another game Saturday. After that series, their next one is a big one at Munn Arena. It'll be 2 games against Penn State. Penn State, another highly rated team. They have debatably the best player in college hockey right now. So that is going to be a good series, assuming Michigan State can get past Northern Michigan. They should, but of course, as we saw with that New Hampshire opening series, it's sports, anything can happen. Michigan State needs to take care of business and take it from there. Looking at other sports around campus, the field hockey team not doing too hot this year, but they did knock off number 12 Ohio State 4-3. Gavino made 11 saves in goal for MSU today. That was the team's first conference win, but it is nice to see them take down a ranked team like they just did. The volleyball team, they improved to 15-3 overall now. They outlasted Maryland in 5 sets the day before, I should say Friday. They ended up losing to number 1 Nebraska. No shame there. If anybody here watches volleyball, you'll know that Nebraska is the real deal. They are a fantastic team this year. Moving over to women's soccer, the women's team is ranked number 16 in the nation. They defeated Illinois 5-1. Illinois was not ranked, but they are receiving votes. The women's team is now second place in the standings at the moment. So that's looking promising for that team. Hopefully they can keep that momentum going. And then finally, looking at college dodgeball, once again, Michigan State is rated number 1 in the power rankings. For whatever reason, the state of Michigan and the state of Ohio, uh, fantastic dodgeball states. Looking at the top 5, you got Michigan State at 1, Miami of Ohio at 2, Ohio State at 3, Kent State at 4, Grand Valley at 5. I mean, it's kind of odd. Number 21, Central Michigan. Number 22 is Western Michigan. I mean, you got a lot of the Michigan teams in here. Notably, there is no University of Michigan. I think that they need to get working on their dodgeball program if they want to compete with the big boys. But good to see from there. And then finally, the basketball team has their first exhibition game this Thursday against Bowling Green. Of course, that Bowling Green team is led by Coach Lural Tum Tum Nairn, the former Michigan State point guard. So hopefully he can lead them through the MAC, but hopefully it does not start this Thursday. We'll see what the boys have on the basketball end this week. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. As always, go green.